Hello, everyone. We are live. We are live right now. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Workplace Wisdom Show. If you can hear me, if you can see me, put a comment in the chat and say you can see me while I chat. You are all welcome. Welcome. Tell us where you're logging in from. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see 6 people. Let's keep coming on, everyone. Tell us where you're logging in from. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. If you want to comment, you have to subscribe, comment. Hello, Queenette. Thank you for logging in. I see Queen. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Olatubosun. Olatubosun from Elisha. Wow, from Elisha. That's great. Let's have more people. It's 12 o'clock, everyone, and we are live. We are live, Ep.2 of the Workplace Wisdom Show. And I'm excited that we're here. In a few minutes, I will be bringing our guests. We have Oluwatosin from Lagos. Thank you. Thank you, Tosin from Lagos. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, everyone. And we are live. Everyone, jump on board. Let's get started with this lovely topic, ethics in the workplace. Okay, while we wait for others to join, glad to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. I'll be introducing our speaker. And we have my guest is on board as the numbers begin to climb. And I'll be allowing her give a big, powerful introduction of herself in a minute. But I'll tell you what I know about her. Welcome, Shola. I'll tell you what I know about her. It's been a while. I think since 2017, I've been having one or two things to do with Shola, everything about development, because Shola likes to develop. And I have seen Shola move from grace to grace, grace to grace in the HR world, in the career space. The other day, I was watching her being introduced on the stage where she was having a series for a church on career, and I say, yes, yes, that's Shirley, right? I remember that I worked with Shola when we were talking about her purpose in life some years ago, and it was clear. Shola is about career development, helping people to grow their life and career. And between then and now, she's been doing that. She's an emotional intelligence certified professional. She's an emotional intelligence certified coach. So she's a life coach, and she's one of the leaders in the HR world in our organization. Please help me welcome Shola, and I'll allow her to give a very good introduction of herself. And I hope that she's excited to be here. Everybody, please welcome Coach Shola Odeyinde.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Enahoro. And it's so good to be here. Um, I hope you can hear me very clearly. I'm
Yes,
excited to
I
be on
can.
this platform with you. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. Um, I think you've said it, most of it, especially that is relevant to this platform. My name is Shola Odeyinde. I'm a HR leader, HR professional with years of experience. I've added to my HR practice certification in emotional intelligence coach and life coach. I have also added being a mediator. So I'm an accredited mediator as well. I've added that to my credential, majorly because, like you said, I'm all about impact and personal development, career development, personal development. And so I pick up every now and then trainings and certifications that will equip me and enhance, my journey in helping people discover themselves and also
Mhm.
develop themselves in areas of their career. So I think basically that's the most that we can share on this platform. There are many more, but for time's sake,
Yes.
let's stick to what is relevant. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you here. It's a 1 hour show, and we're going to hit it straight up. We have quite a bit of people online. Everybody's interested in hearing about politics in the workplace. And the title says Workplace Politics, How to Play It. Now, I know that you are not one that wants to be caught playing workplace politics, right?
Hmm.
But when we begin to dive in, we would see how those who are very powerful with morals, honesty, transparency, um, would play politics in the workplace. But let's look into it. What are your thoughts? What exactly is workplace politics? To the average employee watching this show right now, what exactly is workplace politics?
Coach, I'm not sure if I'm the only one who can barely hear you. When you
Oh
were
wow.
speaking, your voice, the audio was cracking. So maybe other
Okay.
people can confirm they can hear you, the flow.
All right.
If they can
If
hear
you
the
can
flow
hear me,
perfectly,
please,
I
can
will
you hear
then
me?
know it's my
Can you
own network.
can you hear me? All right, Shola will be back in a bit. All right, you can hear audibly. Great. So while we're waiting for Shola to come in, from your own perspective, what is workplace politics? Workplace politics. What is workplace politics? From your own perspective, before I share my thoughts, what is workplace politics? I believe she's trying to join with another network. All right. Shola, can you hear me now?
Is it my network?
Yes, I
Yes, I
guess.
can hear you.
All right.
Okay, so I guess
You
my network is fluctuating, but I think I heard you say, share with me what your perspective is on workplace politics before you share yours,
exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah. But I was
Okay.
talking to the
In
audience.
my perspective,
Mm,
right, in my perspective, workplace politics is, in simple terms, a play of power for preference, right?
mm,
When I say play of power for preference, it also simply goes to say that most of the time there is always a prize to win. There's
mm,
always it's like a competition. So it's majorly people competing to gain visibility, to gain, for something. There must be a goal, there must be a prize, there must be something that they're all aiming at. Okay, so in
mm,
the workplace, of course, a lot of people are there. Of course, they want to be promoted, they want
yeah.
to, you know, they want to rise in their career. And as a result of that, people, you know, in people actually employ several strategies, deploy several strategies to ensure that they get the required recognition, promotion, visibility. And that play for power, for preference, is what I would call politics. Politics exists everywhere because
Mm-hmm.
human beings naturally are political.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the workplace, it's not a surprise that you will also find politics there. It's everywhere as long as human beings are there. And as long
Mm,
as there is a goal, as long as there is something everybody is aiming to get, you would see people who are playing politics because they want the attention of the people that matter. Okay. And that's where
mm,
preference comes in. So everybody is playing to be preferred than the other. And as long as that exists, that's what I'll call politics in my own terms. I'm not quoting the dictionary now or the
mm.
internet. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
that's
Thank you.
my own perception of what politics is.
So basically, people are in the office, people are in the workplace, and everybody is trying to be recognized. Everybody is trying to gain something like promotion, like being the good books of the leaders in the organization, and
Absolutely.
how how we all try to do this becomes what workplace politics is. So it's how individual play to gain advantage of power within the organization, basically, right? And everybody does this, right? Everybody wants to be in the good books of the boss. Everybody wants to be positioned for promotion. Everybody wants to be positioned for who is going to travel abroad or any kind of perk, any kind of, you know, um, anything good in the organization. Everybody wants it, right? So that means workplace politics in itself, it's not a terrible thing, right? Because everybody in one way
Absolutely.
is
It's not.
positioning themselves, for something good in the workplace, right? Um, so when exactly? Why do people then say, it's politics? It's politics. Just they are very political at work. It's politics, and then they use that as a way to give workplace a negative connotation. Why does that happen? Have you ever thought about it?
So, the truth is this: politics is amoral, right? It's neither good nor bad. It then
Mhm,
depends on how you deploy your political strategies. So I like to liken this a lot with, of course, the political system that we are used to, governance. And you would notice that in politics, you will see people who play dirty. They always tell you that during election, heads will roll, right? I think we hear that a
mm,
lot
yeah.
because people are trying to gain that power for preference by all means. And so they are, having to, so a lot of people become a victim of that process. And that's
Mm,
like the negative politics. So, negative politics means that by all means, you want to play this powerful preference and you don't mind going all lengths to make it happen, even if
mm,
heads will roll. I use heads will roll carefully.
mm,
Even if heads will roll, you would go ahead and pull people down and, deploy all forms of nepotism and so on to make it happen. But there is also positive politics. Positive
mhm,
politics is majorly when you are not necessarily pulling anyone down, but you're advancing your cause. Okay, you are being deliberate about the way that you position yourself. You're being deliberate about the way that you influence people's opinion and perception of you. You're being
mm,
deliberate about the way you come across and enlist people who would what's the word? Who would vote for you if I would use, the political system, the terms in the political system. So basically, some people deploy politics in a negative way and some people deploy it in a positive way. And the truth is, like I always tell people, if you decide that, oh, I'm not going to be part of the politics in the organization because this place is too political. And I used to be, in that category of people who say I don't play
I
politics in
can
the
imagine.
workplace.
I
And
can
that was
imagine.
for me, that was ignorance. Okay, that was ignorance, that was lack of knowledge. And I let me also liken it to the political system today. You would notice that for people, Nigerians, all the times we decided that we were not going to be part of politics in Nigeria, what has happened to us as a nation? We have become victims of it.
Mm,
Okay, so if you're in a system and you decide that, oh, politics is negative, I'm not going to play it, then you're going to leave it for the people who will play it negatively.
negatively.
But you who have the credibility, who have the pedigree, who have the competence, okay, to
Mm,
play the politics and influence decisions, influence policies, and use it for the good of the people or the organization or the department or the people that you represent. And you
mm,
decide, I'm not going to play it, but because it's negative. At the end of the
mm,
day, you become a victim.
mm,
Okay, and
yeah.
also
All right, Shola will be back in a minute. So let's look at, while we wait for Shola to be back. I want to enumerate a few things. Why do people play politics in the workplace? First of all, it's human nature. It is human nature to play politics in the workplace because we're social beings and we all have desire for power. We all have desire for security. So there's a natural inclination to want to lead, to want to have alliances, and to want to be in the good books of one or two people. And because of that, we have to play politics in the workplace. Another reason why humans play politics is because resources are limited. Resources are limited. So in most of organization, not everybody can be promoted to the next level. And I say sometimes to my employees, I say, see, except someone dies at the next level, there's nothing we can do. We can't promote anybody to that next level, right? So because there are limited resources, limited promotion, limited raises, people would play politics in the workplace. Again, what do we mean by politics? People with position so that they will be chosen. People would do things at work so that they will be recognized. You understand? And because there are diverse interests, again, cultural factors, all of these would lead to workplace politics. But one of the things that Shola has said is that people deploy workplace politics in negative and positive ways. Now,
I
I
can
would like
hardly
us to,
hear you. Can you hear
okay,
me?
yes, I can hear you clearly, Shola. I can hear you clearly, very, very clearly, clearly.
I can barely hear you.
Um, but I can hear you clearly. So let's see how that unfolds. Ocholi said, context matters. The organizational culture matters. In a toxic environment, workplace politics takes very negative connotation. In a positive culture, workplace politics happens harmlessly. All right. So this is my view. The beginning of playing good workplace politics. So, if you can hear me now, please let me know. The beginning of playing good workplace politics. And if you're in the comment section, you would let me know if you agree with me. The beginning of playing workplace politics is knowing your job. Knowing your job. That is the beginning of playing workplace politics. Do you all agree with me? Know your job, know it very, very well. If you want to play politics positively, the title says Workplace Politics, How to Play It. How to play it, right? How to play it. If you want to play workplace politics in a good way, the first thing you need to do, and this is very instructional, the first thing you need to do is know your work, know your job. Know your job. Ensure that when push comes to shoves, You know your job. When you do things and people say, look at you, you're playing politics, everything comes back to your work. Do you know your work? Do you know your job? If somebody positions you for promotion, politics, right? Will the person be able to defend you with the fact that you know your job? If your name pops out in a particular meeting where somebody is saying, of these three people, that is the person that we should choose, for promotion or to give money or to send to the US for training, will the person be able to defend the fact that you know your job? So there's no workplace politics. Anytime you bring about politics in the workplace with someone that does not know his or her job, then there's going to be a big problem because people are not going to be able to defend you. So the first thing, Shola, can you hear me now? So the first thing to do is to know your job.
Coach,
How to?
I can hear a cracky sound. I can't make sense of what I'm hearing.
Oh wow, is a network. Can you try and change the network? And let's see if that would work. Can you try and change the network? I think everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, everybody, please just let me know. But again, they are tweeting what I'm talking about, so I guess they can hear me. So can you change the network a bit, and let's see if another one would work. All right.
Yes, I tried doing that as well. I
Oh,
tried
okay.
doing that. Can you speak?
I can see you. I can hear you.
Okay. Am I the only one who can hear you well?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's your network.
So it's my network.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's
Well, hang
continue,
on.
Coach.
But we can
And
hear you.
it will
All
be
right,
nice
we can
if
hear you.
someone types out your question. I can see.
Right. All right. Let's try and do without well, with the video, we need a video. Okay. If you can hear me after a while, you can then jump into what I'm saying. Okay. Now, we're talking about how to play workplace politics. Workplace politics, how to play it. We have established the fact that politics is people behaving, carrying out actions in the workplace, deploying actions in a way that gives advantage to their person. We have established that. And we've established the fact that it can be played positively and it can be played negatively, right? We've established that. And then we've established the fact that the reason why humans play workplace politics is because number one, there's scarce resources. Everybody wants to be identified, everybody wants to be recognized, everybody wants promotion, everybody wants something good around them. Part of the reason why people play workplace politics. And of course, again, scarce resources. And I am now going into how to play workplace politics. Now, I believe that everybody on this call would say they are not into negativity, right? I believe that clearly. So let us identify ways in which people play workplace politics from a negative perspective. From a negative perspective, let us identify some of those ways. And number one would be um, Shala's network is really bad, right? Let's differentiate between healthy networking, because politics in the workplace is about networking. Position yourself to be known. Reaching out to people, doing something good in the office so that people will know that, oh, this guy is good, this guy is great. Those are ways to play politics in the workplace without any doubt, right? And there are good reasons, right? Good reasons why you should do that. And I mean, for several reasons, you should be recognized, you should be known. But let us differentiate between the motive of workplace politics, positive and negative. Positive and negative. Let us differentiate between both. Now, the first thing you want to note is your intent. Your intent. Now, networking, understand, knowing people, you understand, being recognized in the office, being in a meeting and communicating, showing that you've just gotten a certification, or you just got new knowledge. All of those things can sound political. And I said the first thing you need to know is to do your job. The second one we want to discuss right now is, how do we know that somebody is playing negative workplace politics or positive workplace politics? How do we know? The first thing would be your intent, your motive. You know, in emotional intelligence, we say mot. The etymology of the word emotion is mot, your motive, locomotion, right? So motivation. What is your motive? What is your motive? If your motive is genuine, to build genuine mutual relationship with bosses in your organization, right? To build connection so that you will learn, so that you will share knowledge, so that you would grow professionally. If that's the reason why you go around the workplace, why you show yourself up, why you allow yourself to be known, that is a good motive. That is a good motive, right? But if the motive is to gain an advantage at the expense of other people, so that you can have control and for personal gain, then that is a negative motive. Can I repeat that? If your motive for showing up in meetings and calling meetings, and I'm going to have a discussion with the boss and showing that you've done a certification, you've just learned something new, and you're positioning yourself for good, if the motive is basically to build genuine mutual beneficial relationships with people at work, if it's the motive is to learn in the workplace, if the motive is to share knowledge and grow professionally, then that is good workplace politics. But if the motive is to gain advantage at the expense of others, if it is to desire power so that you can control certain people, then that is terrible workplace politics. An example of a negative one would be somebody, a lady who is dating the boss and using that in a way to control leaders in the organization, to determine where money goes in the organization. That's negative, and that is detrimental to the organization. Another one we can look at is, what is your method of playing politics in the workplace? That would tell us whether your politics is negative or whether it is positive. And if you understand a few things that I'm talking about, you can type it there. Just let me be sure. Right. The second one is your, thank you, Kunet. Kunet wrote motive. The second one is method. So the first one is motive. The second one is method. What is the method in which you are using to play politics or you're using to show up? Now, if you are networking, right, with transparency, where you are able to seek advice in a transparent way, and you are able to ask for support and offer support, collaborate in a very transparent and honest way, then that is good workplace politics. It means that whenever somebody is requested to come and do something, give an extra hand to the job, you show up because you really want things to work in the organization. And then you do the job, you get it done, and you enjoy it, and it is for the good of the organization. Then that's a very good method of playing politics. The next time they're going to talk about you, they would say, that young man that went an extra mile for the organization, please call him. We need to appreciate him. Now you have played very good politics in the workplace. That's very good. But if your method is a negative method, political manipulation, whereby you spread rumors, right? In a way that the rumor seem to give you advantage. Now that's a terrible method, right? Do you know that some people withhold information to their advantage? Withholding information to their advantage. When people withhold information to their advantage, that is a terrible way of playing politics, and that is a negative workplace politics. So look at again. I started with motive, and now I've talked about method. If your method is such that it gives everybody gain, it helps the organization to grow, right? It gives results to a job at hand, and that's the reason why you are identified, and that is the reason why you are called and appreciated. That is good method. But if it is withholding information so that other people will not know what is happening, then that is negative. That is negative. If it's about spreading rumors, then that is negative. Very, very negative. It's about using relationship purely as a means to an end, then that is negative. That's negative. So we've talked about method, we've talked about motive. The next one I want to talk about is the depth of relationship that you have, right? If you build relationship based on mutual respect, if you build relationship based on shared interests of the organization, shared goals in the organization, then you are using positive relationship to build your own workplace politics, right? And if this relationship are sustained over time, and it is for the organizational benefit, the benefit of everybody, then that is good, right? But if it is for the wrong if it's for the wrong motives, such as relationships that are superficial, eye service relationship. How many of you know eye service relationship? There's eye service, there's leg service, there's body service relationship. If it is for all those kind of if it's all those kind of relationship in the workplace, relationship that you quickly form even though you don't like the person, so as to get a benefit in the organization, then that is negative. That is negative, right? So motive, method, depth of relationship, right? Somebody just asked, can we play office politics without knowing? Yes, you can. You can play office politics without knowing that you're playing office politics. You can. I mean, and a lot of people do this. So good afternoon. I mean, so they go to the office to say good afternoon to the boss. And as they're talking to the boss, they're talking about what has been done, what they've been able to achieve since morning, and they give good comments about themselves to the boss. That's political in some way, even though it is positive, right? And it is not intentional. It is not intentional to be negative. So yes, it is political in some ways. Yeah, you're showing yourself up. Yeah, we have Shola here. Let's hope that our network is good. You're showing up, but you are doing it in such ways that is making you recognize. That's you playing politics without knowing. Shola, can you hear me very well now? Because I can see you clearly and I can hear your background.
Absolutely good, but better than before. Can
All
you
right,
hear
great.
me?
I can hear you clearly. So I was talking about the
Okay.
difference between playing workplace politics in a negative way and in a positive way, and to show people, how do you know that you are playing politics in a positive way or negative way? And I've given three ideas. I said the first one is the motive, right? When the motive is positive, mutual, good for the organization, achieving result, good for everybody, that is good. But when the motive is for personal gain, taking advantage of other people, then that is a negative way of playing it. I've talked about method. If the method you're using as a person, for example, is genuine, is transparent, upfront, seek advice, offer support to everybody in the organization, then that is a good method. But if the method is spreading rumors, withholding information, quickly getting close to someone because there's something you want to achieve very soon, then that's a terrible method. And then I've talked about depth in relationship, that when relationship is built for mutually beneficial results, when relationships are built for the good of the organization, then that is good. But when the relationship are built, simply to manipulate people and manipulate, results, then that is terrible workplace politics. Do you have anything to add to that?
Okay, just give me a moment. Trying another device
All
because
right,
I
great,
really did
great.
not hear you.
Okay, okay. Um, so part of what people will begin to ask is um, workplace politics, right? Um, what if you are the target of negative political maneuvers? What if you are the target? How many of you have suffered, negative political maneuvers in the workplace? Anybody like that? If you have, please say yes in the chat. Yep, I see that new one. If you have, this is sharp, very clear, right? Shala, if you can hear me. Now, if you if you are the target, Queen said, what makes one a target? I mean, very simple. Um, People think that you are too good, and they want to remove you. Um, they want to remove you from, from a position. You can be a target when people want you to be in the bad book of your superior, you know, and all of that. Yes, so you can be a target. Chibuzo says, does it mean one cannot succeed without workplace politics? Honestly, I don't think, if you now understand that, Shola, if you can hear me, I muted you so that you'll be ready. But your video is sharp now. I believe it's a better network. Chibuzo says, does it mean one cannot succeed without workplace politics? All right. A lot of people can answer that. What's your answer? Does it mean that one cannot succeed without workplace politics? I'd like to get your answers there. Uh, while I quickly talk about what to do if you notice that you are someone who is being targeted by terrible people at work and they are being political. The first thing you need to do is to be aware, that this is going on. There's something called organizational awareness, and a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people don't have it. Organizational awareness is the capacity, the ability of an employee to know what is really going on in the organization. Put your ears on the ground and the new things that are going on in the organization. All the rumors that are happening in the organization. That's very important. Sometimes you miss out of good things because your ears are not on the ground. Especially those of you very moral, good, lovely people, honest, transparent people that say things like, me, it's not my problem. I don't play politics. It's not my problem. I don't play politics. If you don't put your ears on the ground, you would lose a lot of information. So the first thing is to be aware, that you are a target of negativity in the organization, and you need to put your ears on the ground. Put your ears on the ground, not so that it would affect you but so that you can understand what is happening around you. Imagine being a nation, and all around you there's war, and people are trying to enter into your nation, and you are not aware. Remember what has happened to Israel with Gaza, and Gaza, I mean, Hamas entered into Israel without them knowing. Now, that is an example of not being aware of what is happening around you. You must be aware. I think that Shola can hear me very well now. So that's the first thing you need to
Yes,
do.
coach, I can hear you now.
Very good.
I
Very
can
good.
hear you now.
All
Sincere
right.
apologies. I've
It's
from one
understandable.
network to the other.
We're in Nigeria. Understandable. So I'm talking about,
Apologies.
what if one is the target of negative workplace politics? What should they do? And I said that the first thing, and I'd like to get your idea about this. The first thing is to be aware that that is going on. There are a lot of people who don't have organizational
Thank you.
awareness. They go to work every day. They don't even really know what is really going on because they don't put their ears to the ground. Do you agree with me?
If someone is a target of office politics, right?
Yes. And I'm saying that one of the first things that
What
people need to do is to put their ears on the ground. A lot of people don't have organizational
yes,
awareness. Do you know that?
absolutely. Absolutely. So
They,
yes,
they, they,
very importantly, it's
Mhm,
important to know that politics is not, you can't play politics passively. You can't be passive,
mhm,
and say, oh, um, I'm playing politics, or they are playing politics. You have to, the first level is awareness.
mhm,
And then awareness is not enough, because even your awareness without any action, you
mm,
would remain a victim. Okay. So
mm,
awareness is the first level. Awareness, what should you be aware of? Be aware of, where power sits in
mm.
your organization.
Please, can you
Be
repeat that?
aware of the people.
Be aware of where
Yes.
power
And
sits. Can you explain that? For the
yes,
average
and
employee.
it's by observation. It's by observation. And it's not only by observation, but by participating, right? If you're all focused on your work, there's a very resourceful book I read recently. It's titled How Women Rise. And if you ask me, I'll recommend that book to any woman, any man, you know. Being aware of your organizational structure, the one that's, there is a structure that you can see and there is a structure you cannot see. The structure
Let's
you can see is probably your organogram, right? It's probably the people who sit in positions of authority. You can see them, but there are other people who are influencers in your organization. They are not necessarily positional powers, but they are influential powers.
so I
And
can give you
so if
example.
you
I can
do
give you
not,
example. I can give you example. The girlfriend of the MD.
please say that again.
The girlfriend of the MD.
The boyfriend of
Eh?
the MD.
Or the girlfriend of the
Absolutely.
MD. Mm,
Absolutely. I mean, the awareness, your awareness level has to be strong, and you
mm,
have to be, actively engaging, the necessary um, powers, if I may
mm,
use that word. Not power in the sense of power, but power in the sense of the key stakeholders that matter in
mm,
your space, in your organization. And yes, you did mention girlfriend of theirs. That's even like going extreme. So
mm.
imagine, for example, let's be a little bit more practical. You
Please,
know that
please.
in Lagos State, for example, there are powers behind the power, right?
Yeah.
There are people who are influencing what's going on in the states, but they are not necessarily political powers at that point in time. If you understand, I want to be, you know, um, I want to be very indirect, but if you can read in between the lines, you understand what I mean. There
Mm.
are people who are like, what do you call them? Are they what do you call
Kingmakers,
them? Are they king makers? Beyond the king makers,
kingmakers,
there's a way they are called.
godfathers.
Yes, and godfathers. Thank you for that. There are godfathers. There are people behind the powers that you can see structurally,
Mm,
and if you are not aware of that, if you are ignorant of who wields the power, then you would definitely be playing not be playing right, or even not be playing at all, because you would be playing into the hands of the wrong people. So
mm,
I'm not going to talk about the tips yet, but I just want to answer your question by saying you need to be aware, and not just be aware, but you also need to take the necessary actions based on your awareness,
mm.
because awareness and passiveness still makes you a victim.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Um,
awareness plus taking the right
Taking
action
the right action.
then makes you a player in that space. So
I've,
that's,
I've
yeah.
I found myself advising lower level employees that if you think you are a
Okay.
victim of negative political environment in your workplace, one of the things that you need to do is, apart from being aware, you need to document everything that is passing through your table, everything anybody is asking you to do. Do you agree? Document. Imagine somebody telling you, you can close by 2 o'clock, whereas that is going to be you against you. And I say to them, you go and send a mail to the person and say, dear sir, thank you for permitting me to close by 2 o'clock today. I really appreciate it. Now that's documentation. So that on the day where somebody will say you left work,
Coach, can
and
you
that's
speak
going to be,
into your mic?
yes, I'm speaking clearly into my mic and people can hear me. Yeah. So documentation, you know, um, can you hear me now, Shola? Because I heard you all through, and people can hear you actually.
I'm
So,
hearing document your work, but it's cracking. I heard you
oh,
better the last time you spoke.
okay, okay. So I'm saying that one of the ways to ensure that you are not a victim of the negative political environment is to, oh, Shola is off, so we'll bring her up again, and we all understand internet. So yes, document. If you know that you are a target and people are doing things around you that are negative in order to hurt you, ensure that you document every single thing that passes by you. That is very, very important. Um, Nkechi says, I don't take verbal instructions. It must be by mail. And when you even speak with me, I send you mail to ascertain. Yes, that is very, very important. Extremely. Another thing that you need to do is to seek clarification on everything that you've been asked to do or everything that is going on around you, right? In case there is misunderstanding, or in case the misunderstanding is created in order for you to fall into a ditch, seek clarification. So when you are told to do something, when you are in the midst of a team and you think that the people in the team, they don't really gel with you and they might be doing something that will harm you, ensure that you seek clarification. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything, because it could work against you.
True.
And in the midst of all of that, focus on your work. The
That's when you're
most
playing, that's when you're playing defensive, right? Now you're talking about
Mhm.
someone who is now a victim and the person is
Exactly.
taking measures to protect themselves.
Yes, yes. I want us to take the tips to playing office politics just before we end, so that people will go away with those tips. Be armed with them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I've seen people. So, talking about you are a victim, I've seen a lot of people cry because they ask them, "Where's the proof? Where's the proof?" And they
They
have
ask them,
nothing.
what's the proof?
Yeah, and they had nothing to show. They said, "Did you receive a mail?" He said, "No." Any recording? They said, "No." So, how do you think we should believe that they are lying against you simply
So
because
it,
there is
it,
no
it,
document?
it really depends. It depends on what's going on there.
Mm.
And so what I'm trying to understand is you're talking about where someone is a victim and has now and feels that there is an unfairness, or has
Or
been,
or
or the
when
person has
someone
been victimized.
or when someone suspects that he
Yes.
is being, in the midst of negative politicking. I'm talking about what they should do. That's why we talked about be
Good.
aware, document,
Okay.
seek clarification. And I think one of the most important one, if you agree with me, Shola, is ensure you do your work well.
Yes, very much, very much. But again, doing your work well is not enough. But do your work well, because that will cover your tracks. Okay,
Mm,
that
mm,
would it will give you a strong what's the word? It will give you a strong footing.
mm,
Like I always say, if you're playing politics, play politics with competence.
mm.
Someone who doesn't play politics, someone who
Somebody
is
needs to
very
write that
good at
down.
their job.
Somebody needs to
Yes,
write that down.
someone who is
Play
very good
politics with
at their
competence.
job and does not play politics is like a beautiful lady winking in the dark.
Mm,
Okay, you're very pretty, you're winking in the dark, nobody can see you. You're
mm,
very competent, you're doing a lot of work, you're not visible. You're
mm,
very competent, you're doing a lot of work, you're not influential. You're
mm,
very competent, doing a lot of work, you're not enlisting people and leveraging relationship in the organization. And I just wanted to be clear that politics does not necessarily have to be negative. There are
mhm.
just a few actions that you take, and that's what people call politics. And if you must succeed in an organization, you must play politics. And please take
There's a
politics
question.
as
There's a question on the
you must
screen.
be influential, right?
Does
Does
it
it mean
mean
that one
that you
cannot
cannot
succeed?
succeed without workplace politics?
Workplace politics. Well, hard as it may sound, I would say yes.
I
There are
agree with
some
you.
levels you cannot reach if you do not play politics, hard as it may sound. I will share a very quick story with you.
Mm,
I was doing a course at LBS recently, and
mm,
one of the topics was office politics. And the
mm,
lecturer shared with us very interesting story. The story will never leave me. And the story goes, a CEO was appointed, and the CEO assumed duties. Okay. And
mm,
first board meeting, he comes up with a fantastic presentation of how, you know, um, all the initiatives he wants to drive, all the fantastic ideas he brings on board. First board meeting, none of it was approved. Second board meeting, none of it was approved. So the young man got worried and went to his mentor and said to him, I'm agitated. It's been 6 months in this role and I've done nothing. With
Mm,
all the beautiful ideas that I have, none is gaining recognition at the board level.
mm.
What do I do? And the mentor said to him, have you gone to see Chief? And he said, I see Chief all the time. He says, I see Chief all the time. I mean, I was even with him in the last board meeting. He said, no. I mean, have you gone to see him? You know, there is seeing and there is seeing.
Yes, so there are
So
different levels
seeing
of
is
saying.
not absolutely. So it was just that question that corrected his head. So he went to see Chief in his house. The moment he got there, he just went flat, dobale now. He just dobale and he said, Chief, I'm so sorry. I apologize. We're just learning on this work. Sorry, I've not come to
Mm,
see you since
mm,
I assumed duties. I just wanted to let you know that please forgive me. And then they started talking from there. There and then, Chief said, what do you want? He said all his ideas are not gaining recognition. And the truth is that it's been 6 months. If they were to appraise his performance, he hasn't done well.
mm,
And they started talking. What did Chief do? Chief used his influence to call the members of the board. Chief said to him, your ideas are not gaining recognition because some of the board members would the ideas are not favorable to their own cause. Okay. So
mm,
what we will do is that we will engage people before the board meeting.
mm,
And so he engaged and got a quorum before the board meeting. And at the board meeting, when he did this presentation, that's the next board meeting, he had finished his presentation. And then the chief, who happens to be the chairman, says, so the first person who didn't like the ideas because it wasn't going to be profitable for him, went ahead to oppose it, which was expected because Chief had
mhm,
given him all the background. And
mhm.
by the time two objections came up, Chief now said, let's vote. And all the people he had engaged behind the scene voted for those ideas, and that was how the idea passed. Now, I may not have told that story very appropriately, but I guess you get
Yes.
the message. Message
Mhm.
is that you don't just assume that your competence will get you, you know, into into the scene or to get you the next level or the recognition. Competence is fantastic, is great. But know that the thing that you're looking for, other people are looking for the same
Mm.
thing. Okay. And beyond your competence, some people have that same competence, but they are leveraging relationship. They are engaging behind the scene. There are many stories that were told. You want to drive an agenda, you don't engage the people behind the scene. You just send a mail, and you believe that once your mail lands, it will meet everybody well. So there
A
are just a
popular,
few things that you do
yeah.
that
There's a,
that gives you leverage.
mm.
Okay, and a lot of it is about maximizing relationship. A lot of it is about wisdom.
Let me
Now
allow
there's a
you. Let me allow you
right.
go deep into what you're talking about with the question on the screen. What you know
Okay.
and who you know, which is more important.
So what you know and who you know in this context, who you know
Yes.
is more important. I will tell you that what you know is as important as who you know.
Thank
Okay?
you.
But there
Thank
are
you.
many people who know stuff, but they don't know people. So they are not
Mm.
where they want to be because it's the people you know that will pull you up to where you want to be. So there are lots of people who are not as great as you are in your workplace, but they occupy positions that you would want to be in. But
Mm.
because you haven't leveraged the relationship to be in those positions, you would not be there.
Shola,
Okay?
let me allow
So,
you give your tips. We have just about 6, 7 minutes more. What are the most
okay.
powerful tips you want to leave people with? You know, when it comes to playing positive, transparent, honest workplace politics and help them to grow on the career ladder, what would they be? So just keep flowing till it's 1 hour time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what would they be? The first advice I would like to say is never be passive. You must play the
Mm,
politics. Politics is not negative. Politics can be played positively. And what should be the tips? Number one, I'm going to be talking from the same book I recommended, and that book is How Women Rise. Number one is learn to claim your achievements. Imagine,
Ah,
if you're so great and nobody knows you're great because, someone is taking your shine, right? It means
mm,
that you do a whole lot of work, but your work does not get recognized by the right people. So learn to claim your achievements. You've done great work. You delivered, a project and so on. Quit being humble about it.
mm,
Humility is good, but humility is not claiming your achievement. So when you deliver good work, claim your achievement. Number two, don't
mm,
expect others to spontaneously recognize you or to spontaneously recognize and reward your achievements. Ensure that you get every opportunity you have, right? You
mm,
speak about it. Every opportunity you have to engage with the right people, the people who have influence over your career, you engage and speak about it. Don't
mm.
expect people to naturally know that you need a promotion. Don't expect
Ah,
people to
can you say that
naturally,
again? Say that
you
again.
know,
Say that again. Say that again. That's very important. Mm,
don't expect people to naturally know that you need a promotion. There are, people are distracted at the workplace and everybody's chasing their own personal cause, right? So a lot of times for you to even advance, you would need to speak up. You would need to bring to the attention of the people that matter your needs, your career plans, your career aspirations,
mm,
and your requests. Be direct about it. I think the author was saying that most times women are not direct about what they need. Some men are. But I also
mm,
find it a general thing. It's not a gender biased thing. So don't assume that, oh, they should know that I'm next in line for that job. They should know I'm competent enough to handle it. You should let them know. Okay. And then the third thing I would say is ensure that you're not only building your relationships but leveraging them. So the author talked about building relationship as you have a fantastic network of relationship in your organization. Have you let them know how they can be of help to you? Can you let them know how, what you would want them to do to advance your course or your career? So, yes, having a network of relationship in your organization is very important, but that relationship, leverage it. Let
mm,
them know that if the opportunity comes up to speak about you, they should do so.
mm.
It sounds, that's politics. There is nothing else,
Exactly. And it
called
is it
politics.
is good. It is lovely. But that's exactly what politics is.
That's what politics is not corruption. And a lot of people think that politics is corruption, but no.
Mm,
If you have they say there's a saying, Igbo people say that good market sells itself. But in
mm.
this situation, good market will not sell itself. Yes, people may be seeing you are good market, but they don't know what you want. So you got to tell them what you want. You
And they
got to
could think
tell
you're
them
fine,
that
right?
I'm good market, right?
They could think you're
You got
fine.
to
And
tell
they
them
just
I'm
look at
good
you.
market. Yeah, they believe you're okay. They believe you're doing great where you are and you don't need
Mm,
anything extra. So yes, they know you're good market, but you have to sell yourself, for them to also recognize that these are the great achievements you did. And this is what politicians do. Yes, I know that politicians can play dirty, but we also have politicians in recent times whose hands are clean, who have credibility, who have the pedigree, and they will come out to say this and this and these are the things that I have done. What politics in the workplace does is that it just enhances your competence. You're competent already, but people need
mm,
to know. You're competent already. People need to be told what your next move should be, because if you're not bringing it to their awareness, they may miss it. Okay. And so a lot
mm,
of people bury their heads in the work, but they do not network. And even when they network, they do not let their network know how they need their help for them to progress in the organization. Okay, so those are some of the tips I'll be leaving now. I would say that let us be very careful, because sometimes there is a very thin line between what we're calling politics and the positive and the negative side. And I would say, example, some people have done great job. At the end of the year, you want to gift, some of your bosses. You want to gift them gift to say, thank you, sir. You've been an impact in my career, or thank you, ma, and all that. And you give them a gift. That gift will leave a positive impression in their minds, right? But there's also a
Yes.
difference between you need a promotion or you need something, and then you give a gift to influence their decision or to induce them to take that decision. That's corruption,
Very thin line. Yeah,
bribery.
very thin line. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a thin line. The thing they have in common is that when you take that action, it leaves a good impression. Okay, but you do not take that action to influence that decision. You take that action after they have done what they have to do. But if you're emotionally intelligent, right, and wisdom is profitable to direct, wisdom is also
Mhm.
important in all these things. And that's why it's good to have mentors, it's good to have sponsors, and it's also good to have coaches who you can constantly bounce your ideas by, your issues by, and then they can guide you in the right direction. There is so much to say, coach, but I'm also
Yeah,
mindful of the time you're mindful
of
of.
the
I
time.
seriously apologize. I was looking forward to having a fantastic conversation on
I
this
think we you've had
session.
a fantastic conversation. We understand the dynamics of internet and all of that. And thank you for those powerful tips. Honestly, if you ask me what is the most important thing that I've heard you say today, for me, and I want everybody to hear it. Some people bury their head in the work, but they are not networking. And guess
Yeah,
who? The people that does
yeah,
that the most, the people that do that the most are the people who are good, people with good
yes,
morals, people who are honest,
yes,
people who are transparent,
yes,
people who are
yes.
respectful. No, I don't want to disturb him more. I'm just doing
People
my
like
own
us,
here.
that we say we don't want to play politics. We don't want to play politics, and then you sit down there and see other people who are not as great as you rising.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see
and
them, and
that's
you're like, they are playing politics. I'm a victim of politics. You need
and
to
then
get up and
we
play
go
a
and
game of
pray,
politics.
and then we go and start praying. Go to the church
Absolutely.
and start saying, God, give me favor. Lord, give me favor. Whereas you're
Yes.
supposed to be as wise as a serpent.
Yes, it
If you
should be.
understand what I
Yes.
mean.
Yeah, I do understand.
Ah, lovely discussion. Lovely discussion. Thank you very much, Shola. I'm sure if you're watching this now and if you're watching this after this program, because it's going to be live there on the YouTube channel, you will have a lot to take away. Emotional intelligence says know yourself, choose yourself, and give yourself. Means that be aware, be
Absolutely.
aware. And when we say be aware, not just what is happening within you, be aware of what is going on around you. And that's when we're talking about organization and awareness. Be aware. The second part of the second step in emotional intelligence, we say choose yourself. It's called self-management. And if you look at everything that Shola has said today, put yourself out there. Let somebody know that you need help. Let somebody know that you need promotion. That's you choosing yourself. Network, go and see chief. Who is the chief? Go and see chief from time to time. Give chief a call to say, how are you? Do you know that, Shola, do you know that sometimes in my company GIG, do you know that sometimes some drivers just call me and they say, CEO, I just called to say hello. Do you know how much I appreciate that? Like, I'm one of our captains just called to say, okay, I just make I greet you. And it really touches a part of my heart because not
It
a lot
will.
of people call me to say, I just make I greet you. Guess what? 90% of the time, people call because they need something. You know,
Something.
and when those people call and say, I just make I greet you, guess what? I save their number, because I, I just
Yes,
acknowledge the fact that
because
some
you
people,
want to know who is this person who cares that much,
you
not
know,
calling me for anything.
and guess
I
what?
was telling
Sometimes
someone,
the question I
I
ask,
said, sorry to cut you. I
yes,
said, in the Bible, Queen Esther, sorry, I have to go there. I was
it's
speaking
okay.
about it lately. When Queen Esther was, trying to drive her agenda, and the king said to her, what do you want? She first of all said, if the king may wish, let him come to dinner with his entourage. Why didn't she go ahead immediately to go and ask for a favor? Why did she
Uh-huh.
have to treat him to a very fantastic dinner? And the king now
Dinner.
opened up his heart to say, you can ask for anything. And at that moment, I tell you, there is nothing, that she asks. I mean, of course, we know the story of Queen Esther,
Yeah.
how, she was able to push through that agenda. But it goes to support what you're saying, that sometimes just go and say hello. Sometimes on
Mm.
the birthday, just buy a gift. Sometimes just
Yeah.
drop a word of encouragement on SMS or WhatsApp on festive period. Those things
Mm.
go a long way. By the time you come around to make a request, it definitely should get a positive response. Those
So
are the
that's
things we
choose
call
yourself.
politics.
Yeah. That's
But those
that's
are the right
self-management.
things to do.
Choose yourself. The last part of emotional intelligence is give yourself. And that
Give
teaches
yourself
purposefulness. Purposefulness.
purpose.
Purposefulness. When you get to work, when you go to work, what is the purpose? It's not just to work, it's also to grow, it's also to be influential, it's also
Absolutely.
to gain influence, it's also to gain relevance,
Absolutely.
it's also to be recognized, it's also to be
True.
identified. Lovely conversation. Time is never enough. And I go back to what I started with. In the midst of all of this, know your job and do your job well. Know
Be
your job
competent.
and do your job well. And that's why I love it when you said there's something you said about competence. If you want to be the best way to play politics is to first be competent, or something like that.
Yes. Because if
We
you're
can
not
go on and
competent
on and on.
and you finally land yourself in a position,
Mm.
you won't last there. It will
Let's
be,
take let's
even
take this
the
question.
person who helped you will be
Yeah.
disappointed because you won't perform. Yeah.
So I want you to end with this, and I'm ending with this. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. Mimi G said, my question is, what if you build this relationship and play the politics, but unfortunately end up not going in your favor, especially when you work in a white-dominated workplace? Last answer, and we'll be done.
Especially if you work in a where?
White-dominated workplace.
White dominated. So one of the skills, because there are political skills, one
Mm,
of the skills is multicultural awareness. Okay,
mm,
multicultural awareness is very important today in every workplace. You have diversity in the workplace, all kinds of people. You must understand how to work with them. You must understand
mm,
what appeals to them. You must
mm,
understand, you know. So I tell you something. I'm not sure. Politics in the workplace with white people. We say white
mm,
people very um, carefully as well, because white
mm.
people, not necessarily all, okay?
Yeah.
But the truth is, um, their level sometimes of transparency, okay, their level of objectivity as well. I can't say that the same way you play politics in Nigeria is the same way you play politics with or in the Western countries with, because culture affects politics as well. We didn't go that way. But the truth is this, you just may need to be, you may be pulling the wrong buttons, okay? For it
Mm,
not to
mm.
work, it just simply means that you haven't hit the right button. And
Thank you.
competence would always work. Competence would always work. Then the second thing is your behavior, your character, how you're putting yourself out there as well. And that's
Mm,
the other aspect, because competence and character are powerful combination. And then you then push your agenda. If you have competence, you have character, and you're pushing your agenda in the right way, in the ways that I have mentioned today, building relationship, leveraging them, speaking about your achievements, not expecting that people will spontaneously know what you're doing,
mhm.
and not expecting that people will spontaneously know what your career aspirations and plans are. I think if you pull all those right buttons, you should be making great impression. If they don't work, go back and review with
A
a
coach, a
mentor,
mentor.
review with
You know.
someone, yes, who is, more experienced than you in the workplace. You may just get some wisdom from there. But the truth is, also consider culture, consider multicultural awareness and
Mhm,
intelligence. Because
mhm,
if you know respective cultures, do you know the power of language, being multilingual, just pulling up the language of someone who you believe also has such influence. That alone is powerful. I mean, there are many tools that you can utilize, that are not negative in any way, in any manner, but they
Mm,
just take you closer to your goal. Okay.
mm.
So yes, that would be my response to that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great day, great discussion. I feel excited. I kind of feel that we've hit some very important, points for people to take away. Like I'm very, very, I feel satisfied that we've had this
Regardless the
discussion.
network.
It's workplace wisdom show. The next topic is going to be romance in the workplace. What to do about it?
You're talking about controversial topics, coach.
The next topic will be workplace romance and what to do about it. Until we see you, it's once in a month. We don't know whether we'll make it once in 2 weeks now, but until we see you in the next edition, Coach Shola Odeyinde, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insights, and you can hang on while we end the YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank
Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone. See you in episode 3, Workplace Wisdom Show. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very